Okay, good morning to all the participants. Welcome back. So today we will start our next session. So the name of the speaker is Dr. Prabhu, and I will formally introduce him. So the title he is going to talk about is that hybrid free space optics or millimeter wave communications for 5G. And Dr. Prabhu is currently working as an assistant professor in the Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, NIT Surathkal, Karnataka. He received his BE in Electronics and Communication Engineering from Anna University, Chennai, and ME in Communication Networking from MIT, Anna University, Chennai. He was with SGC Services Private Limited as technical assistant at National Informatics Center, NIC, Pondicherry, from 2007 to 2008. He was worked as an assistant professor in Easwari Engineering College, which is one of the SRM group of institutions in Chennai. And followed that, he was in Loyola ICAM College of Engineering and Technology. And then he completed his PhD in NIT Trichy in 2015. Following that, he worked as an associate professor in VIT University Vellore from Jan 2015 to May 2018. Since May 2018, he has been serving in NIT Surathkal. He was awarded Government of India's University Grants Commission Fellowship during his Masters and Technical Education Quality Improvement Program, TechCube Scholarship for his PhD program. And he also obtained TechCube International Foreign Travel Grant for his laboratory visit and a research paper presentation in an international conference on wireless and optical communications held at NTU, Singapore. And I'm very glad to inform you that he was one among the top 2% of the scientists worldwide list prepared by Stanford University, USA. His primary research interests include wireless optical communications, underwater communications, optical and wireless communications, nanophotonics, photonic crystal for fibers, 5G antennas and IoT. He got funded projects including DST CERN, and he has published more than 50 journals, 50 publications in various journals, including IEEE, IET, SPI, Elsevier, Wiley and Springer, etc. And he is a technical reviewer for various international journals of repute like IEEE, IET, Elsevier and Springer publications. He has been invited speaker for many international conferences and workshops and faculty development programs in India. He is a senior member in IEEE. Now I would like to invite Dr. Prabhu to take it over this session, and I convey my warm greetings and welcome to him. Over to you, Prabhu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your kind intro. Yeah. So just I'm sharing my screen. Is it visible, sir?
It's being loaded. Yeah. Now you are sharing your entire screen, not a window.
Yeah, entire screen only.
Yes. Now it's visible, yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you, sir. So very good morning to all. So really, I am very happy this moment to sharing my experiences with you all. And as you know that as per the program schedule, this session we are going to discuss about hybrid or convergent FSO millimeter wave communication for 5G. If you look it out, current trend is like you may heard many a times you can come across many papers this word hybrid as well as convergent systems. The idea is very simple. If you take like 5G or 5G beyond, or if you take IoT applications, the communication plays a major role. So once if you talk about the communication, so we are looking for the reliable communication as well as availability of the communication link. So for achieving that reliability as well as availability, we are going with especially these hybrid as well as convergent systems actually. So especially in this session, we are going to discuss this hybrid convergent of FSO as well as millimeter waves. So we can give a lot of examples. For example, very simple thing is we know that during daytime only we can see the things around us, isn't it? Because the sunlight falls on all the objects, the surrounded environments, and it reflected in all the direction. The reflected signal reaches our eyes so that we can see the objects surrounded by us. But what about night time? Night time fully dark, there is no sunlight. So moonlight is different. Suppose there is no moonlight also, we can't able to see the things. So that is the reason. But the availability of the communication surrounding things only, we invented that artificial lights, that man-made light sources like bulbs, etc. Actually, so same way here also, for the availability of the communication link or reliability is very very essential for 5G beyond, as well as IoT applications. So that is the reason people are looking for this kind of hybrid as well as convergent systems actually. Okay, so really I am very happy at this moment. So once again I would like to thank Dr. R Neelakandan, organize, and as well as the complete organizing team of this program, IIT Goa, providing me this wonderful opportunity. If you look it out, this program, signal processing in 5G algorithms and implementation, really it's very hot topic. Nowadays lot of research works are going on. So even many books are also available in this kind of topics. So really highly needed area actually. So I would like to thank the complete organizing team to making such kind of wonderful sessions, such kind of hot areas. And another thing is 5 days is not easy thing. Uh, and if you refer that the participants as well as resource people also across India, so it's really appreciable one. So uh, I would like to thank the complete organizing team once again. So these are the outlines of our discussion today. So if you look it out, the session title is hybrid convergent FSO millimeter wave communication for 5G. So if you look it out this title carefully, you can find some important keywords. So one thing is 5G. So and second thing is you can find a millimeter wave, and third thing is FSO, and the fourth thing is this hybrid and convergent systems. Okay, so therefore we are going to see that all the keywords actually in detail actually, that means we cover the complete topic actually. So even though everybody familiar about this 5G and 5G beyond 6G next generation wireless communication technologies, for the continuity purpose, quickly we can touch those topics. And even though we are planning to address for 5G applications, so once if we are talking about 5G and 5G beyond, obviously IoT also comes into the picture. Just 5 minutes quickly we can go through that in brief introduction about IoT also, and then following with introduction as well as useful applications of this FSO as well as millimeter wave in 5G application, and what is the need of this hybrid as well as convergent systems, and what kind of works are going on in this area, the latest research works, recent trends in this domain. So those things we are going to touch on this topic, this section. And we are doing some of the convergent works at NITK Surathkal, but not exactly this FSO millimeter wave combination, that also we are working. And major focus we are doing on convergent system with underwater FSO with underwater and RF millimeter wave with underwater, such kind of combos. So that also we are going to discuss in this session. Okay, and I hope that since it's coming under 5G, the today upcoming sessions as well as tomorrow the further sessions, maybe many resource persons speak about this millimeter wave actually. So that's why I thought to spend first FSO sometime, then I thought to go with millimeter waves. Okay, so anyway we'll start with this 5G beyond introduction first. So as we know that communication is very very essential in this universe actually. Yes, just imagine actually without communication how the world will be. We can't imagine actually. Even in normal human person also, if you are not communicating, if you are not mingle with others, then mentally will affect, lot of depression will be happen actually. So communication is very very essential for the all the living things, organisms in this world, isn't it? So even we are alive in the sense what we are communicating continuously, we are communicating with the surrounding environment. Am I right? So if I am not communicating, I don't feel the temperature, this room temperature, pressure, I don't feel that wind, air flow, this thing. that means I'm not alive. So I am in maybe coma or something like that different. So how we are communicating with that surrounding environment through that sensing organisms, that eyes, nose, and ears, tongues, and throughout our complete skin in the terms of touch the things. So you through these sensing organisms, we can realize the things, we can communicating with the surrounding environment. So like that only the communication initially started in this world, isn't it? So the same way only I discussed initially during daytime only we can able to see the things, but after the invention of that artificial lights, man-made light sources only, nighttime also we are able to see the things actually. Okay, so if you take any kind of communication, you know that the major elements are transmitter, receiver, as well as channel. So especially if you take channel, there are two types of medium categorized into two types: guided medium and unguided medium. So based on this frequency and this channel, this communication broadly categorized into many types. So especially if you look it out the channel perspective, we know that there are two types of communication. One is wired communication and another one is wireless communication. But most of the time, if you look it out, the demands of the communications are common actually, either wired communication or wireless communication. The requirements or demands of any kind of communication links are high bandwidth, high speed and data rate, high capacity. That is, the system should support more number of users, especially if you take millimeter wave communication, terahertz. What is the motto behind that actually? Even if we know that cellular mobile communication itself, we are talking about 5G, 5G beyond, etc. The main motto is we are looking for high speed, as well as we are looking for improve the capacity of the system actually. So that is the reason we are expanding our spectrum. So therefore this high bandwidth, high speed and data rate, high capacity, especially high security, nowadays this is very big challenge for us actually. So as much as the technology grows, the billion of question is how much it's secured. Even see, that nowadays social media, WhatsApp, we aware about those things, hacking, everything actually. So the security is the very biggest challenge for us. So one of the, so how we can, the question is how we can achieve these demands actually: high bandwidth, high speed and data rate, high capacity and high security. So there are many methods are there to achieve these kind of demands actually. Just a second, yes. So there are many methods, techniques, technologies are available to achieve these things. But one of the primary solution is nothing but we have to expand the spectrum. So once if you are moving in an electromagnetic band, if you are moving towards the higher frequencies, especially optical, we can achieve all those things. So that only we are doing actually right now. If you look it out carefully, see, I wanted to just validate these things actually. Why these requirements? Even if you take communication, the complete developments, evolution happened towards these parameters only. So for example, see, this is a complete past to present communication actually. Initially in olden days, people used smoke signal or fire beacons they used for communication. Then later a period we use carrier pigeon, or we send some person. They used to ride using horse. Then they used to send pass some information actually. Then we know that inventions, telephone, mobile phone. Now you know that 4G and all, video call, 3D holographic call. In future, people are already they are doing research in telepathy, brain to brain communication, brain to machine interfacing, etc. So in that way the communication was developed actually. So if you closely observe, the very primary thing is in this past to present communication, the primary thing is speed, the data rate or speed of that communication. That is the primary concern. See, that you can understand from this next slide, this slide. See, if you look it out in the 18th century, that is in 1776, that at that time, if you wanted to transmit some information, it took suppose see the distance are approximately 3500 miles. It took 1 month of time, because the reason is as we discussed, they used carrier pigeon as well as some horseman like that. But in 19th century, in 1858, after the invention of this telegram and all, around the same distance, 3,500 miles, within 10 hours, people transmitted the information, isn't it? So coming to this 20th century, 21st century, see, the time is reducing. So here 1 month, 10 hours, zero point 0.2 seconds, then in 21st century, instantaneously across the world, within a fraction of a second, we can communicate actually. So through WhatsApp message, mobile or text message, call, mail, tweet, any mode actually. So what happened actually? So how the main thing is nothing but this fast, so speed of communication. So the technology behind that is nothing but the complete world is connected with fiber optic networks. So you can see this video also quickly. So see that the complete world is connected via fiber optic cables actually. So any kind of information, it upgraded in the form of light and transmitted through a optical fiber. So that is the reason quickly within a fraction of second we can communicate any part of the world, isn't it? So this is the reason is nothing but fiber optic uh, network actually. That is the backbone network of this complete communication technology. Okay. So the thing is, if you want to achieve these things, the primary solution is in electromagnetic spectrum, we have to move towards the high frequencies. So that is the reason we are moving from RF to microwave, then infrared, then visible light, ultraviolet, like that. Okay. So now coming back to this one, communication classifications based on the channel. So as we discussed, we have two types of communication, wired and another one is wireless communication. So the main advantage of wired is it used to offer a high speed as well as less challenges actually. In wired communication, since the channel is fixed, therefore challenges are less actually. But if you're coming to this wireless communication, here the challenges are more, and at the same time advantages is flexibility also more actually. So due to this flexibility only, nowadays we are preferring this wireless communication instead of wired communication. See, we can give a lot of example like wireless mouse, wireless mic, wireless camera, mobile itself one of the example for this flexibility, isn't it? And you know that the classification of wired, like wired medium, transmission line, waveguides, fiber optic cables, there are itself many categories in chip level, like photonic crystal fiber, etc., nano level to macro level. So anyway, our focus is the wireless. So we know that 4G and all, we are using this RF frequency. Its range around 1 gigahertz frequency we are using for our GSM, etc. But now, if you take 5G and beyond 5G, so as we discussed, we are looking for high data rate as well as high capacity. Therefore, what is the solution? As we discussed, we have to expand our spectrum. So that is the reason we are moving from radio waves to millimeter waves actually. So that's why based on this, again, if this wireless communication also categorized based on the frequency, RF communication, millimeter wave communication, then terahertz communication, then optical wireless communication, like that. So again, optical wireless communication, this each category, many subdivisions are there actually, like indoor, outdoor, etc. The beauty is there is a big competition between this wired and wireless communication. In the world, very first communication was wireless communication only. But due to that more challenges, people identified the specialized medium. That is, we moved from wireless to wired. But now we reach that challenges. We try to address those challenges, but we are looking for flexibility. Therefore, again, we are coming back to this wireless or that integration. See, as our topic said, convergent system or hybrid system. That convergent or hybrid possible with many cases. Wired wireless convergence or hybrid. Coming to this wireless itself, RF millimeter wave hybrid convergent and millimeter wave terahertz and RF wire optical wireless communication like FSO, VLC. So many combos are there actually. Everything now people are working, they are developing the systems. What is the reason? To obtain the high reliable link, communication link, as well as availability of the communication. Okay, so as I said, because of flexibility, now people are targeting wireless communication. Okay, so the next generation wireless communication means already the existing, we know that actually. So the next generation is 5G, 6G, beyond 6G, and the future communications. Okay, so quickly we can go through this, then we will move to that FSO, millimeter wave, as well as convergence systems. So if you talk about 5G, so we know that what is the demand of a requirement or target of 5G means the primary thing is data rate. We are looking for 1 to 10 Gbps. That is at least 1 Gbps data rate we are looking in 5G actually. So that speed is 100 times higher than that 4G communication. So that's a very starting we discussed actually. See, the speed is the primary thing. In 18th century, we took 1 month to transmit the information for 3,500 miles. But now if you look it out, how much? Within fraction of second we are transmitting. Even though we are obtaining the speed, again in terms of data rate, we are looking, we are hungry about this data rates actually. So therefore, in 5G, at least 1 to 10 Gbps data rate we are targeting. Similarly, latency, the delay, we wanted to reduce it. The maximum latency itself, 1 millisecond, we are targeting in 5G communication. So how we can achieve this much speed, that much less latency, as well as we have wanted to improve the capacity? So the solution, as we discussed, the primary solution is what? Expanding the spectrum. So that's why in electromagnetic band, we are moving from RF to this millimeter wave frequencies. So the range of millimeter wave frequency is 3 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz actually. Quickly we can see this 5G. So I think you may aware, and throughout this session so many technologies, resource persons going to discuss about this 5G and signal processing techniques and many techniques involved in this 5G actually. So the main primary thing is data rate, as we discussed. And another thing is, see, this is very important thing, reliability and availability. So for this purpose only we are going with convergent as well as hybrid systems. Anyway, we are going to discuss further many things, so through that you can understand actually. So similarly, security, as we discussed, and latency we discussed, maximum 1 millisecond is the delay, targeted delay. Less than 1 millisecond we are trying actually. Okay, so I think regarding this 5G you may came across many videos. So for a easy quick understanding purpose, review purpose, I'd like to play one small video. I think many of you came across this video also, but anyway, if you see that video, it's easy for understand our further discussions actually. So in this video, if you look it out, the key technologies for 5G are addressed over here. See here, especially like 6 technologies are addressed. If you see that 6 technologies, millimeter wave is the first technology in 5G. Then massive MIMO. Then third is small cell, beamforming, NOMA, MEC, etc. But anyway, our target is this millimeter wave as well as small cell. These two things we are going to focus in this session. Okay. So now coming to this millimeter wave, especially. So see here you can see that. Just quickly I'm playing. So why we are going for millimeter waves in the sense, the already exist spectrum like 1 gigahertz to 3 gigahertz or up to 5 gigahertz frequencies. It's completely occupied. The traffic is more actually. The already exist all wireless technologies, GPS, WiMAX, Wi-Fi, 3G, 4G, even radar, satellite communication, everything we are using this spectrum only. So since this spectrum is completely congested or fully occupied, that is one reason. And another thing is, if you're going within this frequency range, obviously our data rate, capacity, security, everything is limited actually. So our demand is in 5G and beyond 5G, we are looking for 1 to 10 Gbps data rate and minimum latency less than 1 millisecond, and many other factors. So because of these targets, we are going with the primary solution, that is we are expanding the spectrum. So therefore we are moving from this RF frequency to millimeter waves. So the range only, as we discussed, 3 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz. That portion of electromagnetic spectrum is called it as millimeter wave. Okay, so therefore we are looking for this millimeter wave frequency actually. And another thing is this small cell, because this is also important, since these two things we are going to cover. So we are going to discuss that also. Sorry. Just a fraction of second. We'll touch upon this thing. Yeah, small cell. So since we are going depends because of the demands of that uh, data rate as well as latency capacity, such things, we are going with high frequency. The propagation distance as well as the challenges, blockage as well as etc. Many other fading attenuation parameters. So the coverage range also reducing actually. So therefore the macro cells have to be divided into many small cells like microcell, picocell, femtocell, like that we have to divide it actually. For example, see here in 4G communication, if you place one single base station, it's enough to cover the maximum range. Suppose if you take it as 10-kilometer radius coverage distance, we can cover in 4G. But in 5G, since we are going with millimeter wave signals, so the propagation distance also the problem, that blockage attenuation also the problem. Anyway, we are going to discuss in detail. This is just overview only here. So the signal is easily getting blocked by that buildings or trees. Even see our human itself can block the signal. Even our hand, if you are using mobile phone in your hand itself sometimes block the signal actually. So that much challenges are there actually. Therefore the cell macro cells are divided into small cells actually. See here, this bigger one is big base station is macro cell. Then this coverage region is categorized into small cells. So we are installing many new sub-base stations. So these kind of cells are coverage regions are known as small cells. So with the help of these new sub-base stations, always we can connect it with the network actually. Here you can see this in this video. So instead of talking, the videos gives more information, animation. That's why I'm showing this part actually. See, in this case, the signals are blocked, these buildings and the trees, hills, etc. But if you are going with small cells, we are installing many new sub-base stations. So what's happening? The signal is connected. See, even though you are going here, we are connected because of this small cell. Okay, so we are dividing macro cell into like micro cells, pico cells, femto cells, like that. Okay, so likewise many technologies are there actually. Here you can find the technologies. Our targets are high data rate, ubiquitous connectivity. That means wherever you go, you are connected with the network actually. At any place, at any time, at any cost, you are connected with the network actually. That is ubiquitous connectivity. It's everywhere, every time you can connect it with the network actually. And scalability, capacity, security. So for this, we are going with many technologies actually. Anyway, I don't want to enter into the detail because I think many other research people will discuss those points. And similarly, many industries last 5 6 years, more than that, people are working on this 5G. So like you know that Hawaii, they are the one of the pioneer people. They are doing a lot of research in 5G. Even this 5G is testing phase many country, isn't it? Many places actually. So shortly people are thinking to implement also. And you know that this 5G,
Prabhu,
sir.
Prabhu, just I think one of the participants would like to ask you something. Can I enable her to discuss?
Yeah, please, sir.
Yeah, Amrita, please go ahead.
Said that the bigger cells are going to be divided into smaller cells. So is it not going to increase the number of handoffs and the complexity at the system?
Yeah, that handoffs will be there actually. It will be the problem, only the moving time actually. But the thing is, if you are a standalone user, you can get that high data rate. But if you are moving also, that handoff also many techniques introduced to reduce the complexity. The main purpose of the small cells are, even though the complexity is there, the availability and the high data rate is the main concern actually. So even we are talking about millimeter waves only, that system like pico cells kind of thing. Again, like femto cells, there and all like terahertz communication people are targeting actually. So you are right actually. So since if you are dividing into many small cells actually, if you are moving one to one, one cell to another coverage region, that handoff difficulties will be there. But still many techniques we are introducing to reduce the complexity.
And same thing for the interference and latency as well, because as the number of cells are going to increase, there is going to be adjacent cell interference and there is going to be co-channel interference as well.
Yeah, that co-channel interference
So how is
adjacent.
that going to be handled?
Yeah, that thing and all. If you take RF frequencies, that interference, that ranges are very high actually. But coming to these small cells, micrometer, millimeter wave range, as well as if you are enter into these terahertz region and all, that interference is less. The primary thing is especially that other interference. So since we are not completely away from that regular this what we discussed. GPS and other wireless technology, that interference completely we are avoiding. Even though this co-channel interference also, if you talk here, the blockage itself more actually, the buildings as well as the person itself used to block the signal actually. So in that case, if you take the adjacent cells, that interference level and all comparatively it's less only. So it's not that much major problem. But as you said, the handoff is the one of the important issue. For that, many research work is are going on to address those things. So anything
Thank you,
further?
sir.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
thank
Thank you, Amita. Yes. So just a
Uh,
second.
yeah, okay,
Yes,
bro.
sir. Yes, sir. Okay. So yes, many industries are working actually, and you know that what are the technologies are available, like CRAN, device to device communication, to address these demands, targets, increasing. See, for example, if you want to increasing the data rate, so obviously you have to go with the small cells. If you are going with the small cell technique, not only increasing data rate, increasing network capacity, since the small cells we are introducing, we can cover more number of users. That's why even see everywhere the challenges are there actually. Compared to challenges, what is the advantage, measure our target, how we are addressing. So those challenges slowly it's compensate or mitigate those effects actually. Okay. So similarly, like small cells address this energy efficient thing, economic, etc. Okay. So like that, this table gives that what are the technologies are available. So it's how it will be useful to achieve our targets. Okay. So this brief introduction about 5G. Now coming to this 6G, even though we are getting 1 to 10 Gbps data rate, still we are hungry about this data rates actually, because nowadays if you take many applications, all are high bandwidth applications only. See, one of the example, if you take this call, this program itself, if you imagine 200 users, participants are there, are 500,000, everybody switch on that video, imagine how much like bandwidth consumption actually. So like that, all are nowadays high speed as well as high bandwidth applications actually. So therefore, in 6G, our target is at least 1 Tbps. Imagine 1 Tbps data rate means how much speed it is actually. So, and not only this data rate, another target of this 6G is again, still we wanted to reduce the latency. Even that latency, including that, as ma'am said, handoff also. So if you are switch over from one coverage area to another coverage area, you never feel that thing. Similarly, even though if you are traveling in a high speed, actually 300 km per hour also, you never feel that time also you are connected with the network. So such a way that people are doing research, all the industries they are working on these things actually. Okay, so coming to this 6G, so at least the data rate is 1 Tbps and the latency is less than zero 0.1 millisecond actually. So and similarly capacity, etc. So how we can achieve those things means, again the same concept. What is our concept? The primary solution is we have to expand the spectrum. So we are expanding our spectrum from millimeter waves to terahertz band actually. In electromagnetic band, the region of spectrum zero 0.1 terahertz to 10 terahertz, that range is called as terahertz band actually. So see, this speed is 8,000 times faster than that 5G communication. Just quickly we can go through this 6G. See, these all are the demands of this 6G actually, vision of 6G, intelligent connectivity. You know that like machine learning, deep learning, these and all going to play a major role in this 6G communication. And see, ubiquitous, as we discussed, ubiquitous means connection everywhere actually, anytime. Either you are in air, flying, or space, ground, sea, wherever you go, our network will follow like that. Always you are connected with the network actually. And similarly, this holographic connectivity. So augmented reality, virtual reality, this and all comes into the picture. So quickly we can see that one of the video, this is like a Vodafone video actually. So how that holographic call will be in future actually. So in 6G you see this one, for example, this is, see how we are using video call nowadays actually in 4G itself. So these are also one kind of video call only. So this football player, she having conversation with these guys actually. So this is on stage actually. But how it is looking actually, if you look, see, it's really she is on stage like that. But this is a image actually, holographic image. The complete call is holographic call. Now you can see that this is not a real person, this is the image actually. So this kind of thing going to come in this 6G communication actually. Okay, so again you can talk about these targets and all, like 6G targets, as we discussed, 1 Tbps data rate, latency is less than zero 0.1 millisecond, and many other things, capacity, reliability, etc. So how we can achieve these things means many key technologies, potential key technologies are there. How in 5G we discussed millimeter wave, massive MIMO, small cells, and NOMA, etc. Similarly, the potential key technologies for this 6G is many technologies are there. The primary thing is, as we discussed, expanding the spectrum. So we have to move from millimeter wave to terahertz. Not only terahertz, we are looking for optical wireless communication. Okay. So the this table is very important table actually. So see, depends on our requirements, demands. Simply we are moving towards that high frequency, we are expanding our spectrums. So what about other challenges? See, as she said, um, one of the challenge, like if you're going with many small cells, like handoff is the problem. So likewise, if you are going with expanding the spectrum, so what are the challenges are there? We have to face many challenges actually. Again, people are addressing, introducing many mitigation techniques to address those challenges actually. See, for example, here you can find that different electromagnetic spectrums. See, as we know that in 4G RF frequency, we are using around 1 gigahertz frequency, isn't it? So this 0.3 to 3 gigahertz, this first column, this is actually this blue color column we are using for 4G communication. And 5G we discussed, we are looking for millimeter waves, that is 3 to 300 gigahertz. These two columns we are using, looking for 5G. And just now we discussed 6G, we are looking for terahertz band. So that is zero 0.1 terahertz to 10 terahertz, almost these two bands actually, these two columns. So if you are going with such a high frequencies, how the dominant propagation mechanisms? See, if you take like normal exist 4G RF frequencies, the propagation mechanisms, everybody we are familiar about LOS, reflection, diffraction, and scattering. Even the signal can penetrate through wall. That's why even inside room completely everything is closed also, we can receive our mobile signal. So at some certain some range actually, at least. Okay, but if you're going with the millimeter waves and terahertz band, see that millimeter waves 3 to 30 gigahertz itself, this penetration is difficult, it's not possible. And 30 to 300 gigahertz of that millimeter waves, you see that even diffraction also not possible, only LOS and reflection only the possible thing. That's why in this millimeter wave communication and all, in this 5G, people are now concentrating on RIS, reconfigurable intelligent surfaces, to address, to focus the user with complete LOS, line of sight thing. So there are a lot of research work is going on. Even you know that IEEE Signal Processing Forum actually, they are conducting every year some events actually. Last year also they conducted that event competition on the topic of that RIS only, reconfigurable intelligent surface. See, assume it as within a room like 200, 300 or 150 users are there. How using this reconfigurable intelligent surfaces, some meta surfaces, how you can focus a particular user actually. So that if you take that RIS, it consists of a lot of diodes. So making that on off diodes, we can target the particular user actually. So such kind of technology and all people are introducing actually. So if you enter into the terahertz band, the pure line of sight is highly essential actually. So here you know that normal mobile communication, we know about the channel modeling and all. So multipath fading actually, like how many rays reaching the receiver. But coming to this millimeter waves, terahertz band and all, very few rays, one or two rays only reach that receiver actually. And see that same time dominant attenuation effects, this only we are going to focus much, because if you know the challenges only, why this convergence system is essential for this 5G 6G communication. Once if you understand these challenges, then only you can understand the need of convergence systems or hybrid systems. Okay, so here you can find only free space loss, but if you enter into that millimeter wave communication terahertz band, additional losses you can find actually. So see, especially this higher end of millimeter wave terahertz band, there are lot of attenuation absorption due to that the different gases exist in the atmosphere, water molecules and dust particles, etc. Especially the water molecules, it plays a major role in absorption of these millimeter waves as well as terahertz. Okay, so because of these reasons only, these more losses as well as more absorption, the supported link distance is reducing. See, this is also one of the important challenge actually. That's why we are going with that small cells actually. See, in RF communication, as we said, discussed, one base station is there means it's enough to cover almost 10-kilometer radius distance actually. But enter into that millimeter wave terahertz band, this supported link distance is reducing 10 kilometer to 1 kilometer in millimeter wave itself. Even if you go with the higher range, 30 to 300, 100 meter. So what about terahertz communication, FSO and all? It's in the order of meters only. Okay. So like that, many challenges also we are facing. So that is the reason we are going with this hybrid as well as convergent systems. So this is the brief introduction about 6G. So what about beyond 6G? So still this 1 Tbps not sufficient for us. So still we are hungry about the data rate. So what is the next thing? So beyond 6G is nothing but obviously wireless optical communication. So that's the thing actually. So whenever we are looking for high speed, high data rate, high bandwidth, high, even if you talk about IoT, you know that sensors comes into the picture. So once if you talk about sensors, high accuracy, miniaturized size, and how fast it's responding actually, response time, etc. will comes into the picture. So there also this optics plays a major role. That's why optical sensors nowadays plays a major role actually. So whenever you are looking those things, so the ultimate final destination is nothing but optics only. So that is the reason we are moving from RF frequency to millimeter wave. So 3 to 300 gigahertz. Then now optical ranges actually, IR, VL, UV, etc. Okay, so that is the reason nowadays all the domains, irrespective of domain, every domain almost integrated with optics, because our demands are as what we discussed the same: high speed, high data rate, that is high bandwidth, then capacity, etc., security. So that's why this wireless communication itself, like moving towards wireless optical communication, indoor, outdoor also, FSO, VLC, and even underwater also. You know, underwater initially we used acoustic, then we moved to RF, then microwave. Now people are working on underwater wireless optical communication. So many transformations. See, electronics integrated with optics, optoelectronics, Wi-Fi become Li-Fi, radar, lidar, or optical radar, quantum radar, computer, quantum computer, antenna, sensor networks, machine learning, also quantum machine learning. So everything we can address like that: integrated circuit, photonic integrated circuits, like that. Okay, so beyond 6G is almost this wireless optical communication. Especially the future networks are completely hybrid as well as convergent systems only. That's why the topic is hybrid convergent millimeter wave FSO actually. So the future systems are hybrid of RF millimeter wave as well as wireless optical communication. Not only hybrid, it's a convergent system. We are connecting like underwater sensor You know that IoT we are talking, IOUT, Internet of Underwater Things, Internet of Vehicular Things, all the things, complete the world things are connected with the internet, are completely connected using hybrid as well as convergent systems. So that's why nowadays the trend is completely this hybrid as well as convergent systems. Okay. So still now we discussed about a brief introduction about 5G and beyond, etc. Quickly we can cover IoT, then we move to this FSO further topics actually. So coming to this IoT, everybody familiar about this IoT is nothing but connected of all the things, the objects, machines, sensors, what are the things are there in this exist in this world, all are connected with the internet. So many definitions are available for IoT, especially IEEE is a massive number of object things, sensor devices are connected through communication. Very important thing is communication. See, you know that quickly I wanted to cover, that's why I'm going a little bit faster because our focus is different. See, these are the things. In this 21st century, you know that like the number of connected devices is it's reaching more than 50 billion, but world population is 7 billion only actually. So that means if you take each and every person in this world, they have at least 1,000 number of connected devices. So it's possible. The example only here in this slide, you can see it. See, initially we used workstation, that is our mainframe. Even mainframe is one per enterprise, but over the year you see it. Uh, Mainframe to mini computer, personal computer, workstation, like that. The devices are miniaturized. And if you look it out, the 21st century, see now you know that everybody have not only one mobile, two mobiles, three mobiles, personal use, official use, etc. So in 21st century, so we are talk about IoT and all, so many sensors in householding things itself. If you take a smart home, so what are the things are in home? Fridge, washing machine, lights, everything is connected with the internet. Everything is automated. Everywhere sensor will be there actually. Even our wearables, watch as well as our dress, shoes, that also have smart sensors. If you take a coffee cup, it's smart sensor based. It will tell the temperature, what are the ingredients in that. So like that, everything sensor based. So obviously 100 to 1000 number of smart sensor per person will be going to be there actually. So that is the case what? That many number of 7 trillion of connected devices. So how we are going to connect that many number of connected devices with the network, internet? So that's why, so the connectivity, communication link is very, very essential. So the communication link should provide connection with the network any times, either daytime, nighttime, indoor, outdoor, you are standing or moving or traveling, whatever it is. So anytime, any place, anything, not only human, not only mobile, all the things connected with the internet. So this is the demand of this IoT. So if you want to provide such kind of connectivity, obviously we are looking for 5G, 6G, even all the kind of wired, wireless, convergent hybrid systems, etc. Okay. The main thing of this IoT are sensors, connectivity, and the connectivity is the important thing. That is communication link. Okay, I think this much introduction are sufficient for IoT. So now we can coming back to this our complete topic, FSO, millimeter wave communication. First, we can start with the FSO. Then we will discuss about millimeter wave. So what is mean by FSO? What are the applications? What are the challenges? So how we can mitigate the challenges? Similarly, we are going to discuss about millimeter wave, and then why this hybrid convergent is required, that we are going to focus in this third one. Okay. So quickly we can see this FSO. So these are the things we are going to discuss under this topic FSO. So first quickly we'll introduce this FSO topic. So this FSO is nothing but it's a wireless optical communication. See, again here also you can see that hybrid or integration is there actually. This wireless optical communication is itself integration of wireless communication as well as optical communication. If you remember very starting we discussed, that's why formally we start with that introduction, so that you can understand each and every advanced topic actually. And another thing is, this is not in-depth technical talk actually, because the participants, many reasons will be there actually. And if you enter in-depth detail, we have to deal with complete mathematics only. okay, or experimental stuff only. So therefore this is like a over kind of discussion. Maybe some other occasion we can discuss in depth actually. So this FSO itself, wireless optical communication, already we discussed. The major advantage of wireless communication is flexibility, isn't it? The major advantage of wired communication is speed, especially optical fiber. The major advantage is speed. So if you integrate this wireless as well as optical, we are getting wireless optical communication. One type of wireless outdoor optical communication only, FSO. So the advantage of FSO is it offers advantages of both actually. Wireless also, optics also. That's why FSO it offers speed of fiber as well as flexibility of wireless. Okay, so otherwise we can explain with this slide easily. We can understand this FSO topic actually. So here x-axis is transmission medium and y-axis is nothing but transmitted signal or your input signal. So this transmission medium, please follow my cursor. This is really very nice slide actually. So transmission medium we are categorizing into two types. One is wired medium and another one is wireless. So this free space is wireless. In wired medium, we are taking higher end optical fiber. Similarly, this transmitted signal we are categorizing into two types. So we are starting from low frequency to high frequency. So low frequency side we are taking RF frequency, and higher end we are taking light signal, that is optical signal. It may be infrared or visible light like that. Especially you take it as infrared here over. So now if you transmit light through optical fiber, that is called it as traditional optics. So everybody familiar about this. Traditional optics is nothing but we are transmitting light signal through optical fiber, isn't it? So same way we are familiar about traditional mobile communication. What is meant by traditional mobile communication? We are transmitting RF signal through free space. That is traditional mobile communication. Now what we are doing means we are doing ulta, or we are doing integration. See, this slide gives lot of information actually. See, if you integrate this traditional mobile communication with optical fiber, that is called it as radio or fiber technology. Otherwise, we can say that instead of transmitting RF through free space, I am transmitting RF through optical fiber. That is radio or fiber technology. See, this is the backbone of our cellular mobile communication. See, all the sub-base stations are connected with central base station and throughout the world using optical fiber. See, if I am calling to my friend means from my mobile to that nearest sub-base station only that RF signal, wireless signal. Once it reaches the sub-base station, this RF signal is upgraded into light signal, then it transmitted via optical fiber. So that technology only known as radio or fiber. Similarly, instead of transmitting light through fiber, I am transmitting through free space. That is known as wireless optical communication. Or we can tell it as integration of traditional optics with free space or traditional mobile with light. That is wireless optical communication. So like that we can define this wireless optical communication, especially this free space optics. So this is the simple block diagram of free space optics. We are not going to discuss in detail because this itself very big wider topic. Especially the challenges. If coming to this free space optical communication, the major challenge is nothing but atmosphere. Because already we discussed in wireless communication, challenges are more actually. Because the reason is the channel is not fixed one. It's random in nature. It's keep on varying. If now see, now the climate is different. Within a 1 minute, it may change actually. Okay, within 1 hour. So like that, it's random in nature. So therefore, if you transmit light signal through atmosphere, so due to that light matter interaction, the light used to interact with that different atmospheric entities like different gases, particles, and air packets, etc. So the light is get attenuated and turbulence effects will be there. And another very important thing is already we discussed in the table. If you are going with millimeter wave, terahertz, and optical frequencies, line of sight is very essential. See, one of the simple example for this FSO is our remote control, TV remote. In that what we are doing, infrared light we are transmitting through free space only. Okay, so the pointing errors, that is nothing but line of sight is essential. If any misalignment between the transmitter and receiver, that is known as pointing error. So these three are the major effects or challenges in FSO communication. Okay, anyway, we'll discuss in detail. So this is quick brief introduction about FSO and the importance of FSO means. So see, this table gives the importance of this free space optics. So as we discussed, FSO is nothing but speed of fiber, flexibility of wireless communication. In this table, it gives that if I am little bit faster, please let me know. Maybe I will slow down also. So this table gives that comparison between, that's why I'm checking time. So this table gives
No
that.
problem. Take your time, Prabhu. Not an issue.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So this table gives the comparison between like wireless communication. It's including RF, microwave, as well as millimeter wave also coming in this RF part, or this part actually, wireless communication part, and optical communication as well as this free space optics. See, again, the main constraint is what? Bandwidth and data rate, as we discussed very starting of the session. So if you take this wireless communication, if you take RF, we know that the frequency used is hardly 1 gigahertz or 1 to 3 gigahertz. If you go with millimeter waves, 3 to 300 gigahertz. So in this wireless communication, RF, microwave or millimeter waves, so the bandwidth is almost in the order of 3 gigahertz only, in the order of gigahertz. But in optical communication, see the advantage, the bandwidth is in terms of terahertz. So same thing you can obtain in FSO also. FSO also we are using same infrared, visible light, even ultraviolet signal also people are using actually. So the bandwidth obviously in terms of terahertz range actually. And see the data rate. In wireless communication, the data rate is limited. So that's why we are moving 4G to 5G, 5G to 6G. Again, beyond 6G, as we discussed, if you want to get data rate in order of Tbps, there is no way you have to go with optical only. Okay. So that's why the data rate is high in these two things, but wireless case it's low actually. In this table, this red colors and all represents drawbacks, disadvantages. Green color represents advantages. If you refer it, see obviously we are obtaining more advantages. All the disadvantages of these two. See the disadvantage of optical communication is maintenance is very high and cost also expensive because the fiber cost, you know that if you take one optical modulator cost itself 4 lakh, 5 lakh like that. So it's highly expensive, but nowadays it's comparatively cheaper because so many invention. For example, previously only glass fiber, silica based fibers, but nowadays plastic fibers, many nano fibers, many inventions happened actually. Similarly, lot of revolution happened in the components also, devices. You know that LED case, see, for example, if you take LED or laser source, if you take like 10 years back, it was very expensive actually. But nowadays, you know that organic LED, due to that many inventions, the rate is price is reduced like anything. That's why all the commercial applications we are using optics. TV, OLED TV, isn't it? Organic light emitting diode based TVs. And similarly, automobiles, lights, every commercial applications, we are bringing optical things nowadays. The reason is comparatively the price is reduced. And installation. See, optical communication installation is very difficult. We have to dig the ground, we have to install the fiber. You know, in city side, urban areas, we face that problem actually. Every week, every time, some roads people used to dig actually to installing some cable actually, deploy that cable, etc. So that is very difficult, especially metropolitan cities. Imagine Mumbai, Chennai, and all. There is no space to keep our legs itself. That much congested area actually. That kind of places, how we can install new fiber optic communication. Okay, so that and all the drawbacks in optical communication. Same way in wireless communication, the drawbacks are bandwidth, data rate, especially license. So these kind of things are there. Security is very poor actually. So these drawbacks and all overcome by using free space optics because it's the combination, integration of these both the things. But the only drawback in this free space optics is a very difficult part is atmosphere, weather condition only. And another thing is it won't support for a long distance communication. Hardly 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer it's possible. a maximum 5 to 7 kilometers with the help of relays we can go that actually, but above that it's not possible actually. Okay, so this is the comparison. And another, this table gives the again comparison between this RF FSO. Here you can see that same frequency data rate. The very important thing is these two things we can tell it as security and beam divergence. And another thing is we can talk about power consumption also. So see here, security, you know that RF communication, the volume of transmission cone, if you transmit the data from the transmitting antenna, it transmitted like this. See, it's a cone like that. If you measure that volume of the transmission cone, you'll get this value actually in order of like almost 100. It's very high value actually. But if you check it out, otherwise we talk about this divergence, 20-kilometer divergence will be there actually in RF. But take FSO, you know that FSO, it's a very narrow beam. That's why here you can see this is that divergence actually angle minus 90 to 90 actually in this RF. But see here FSO, since we are using light, it's very narrow beam width actually, only 0 degree. Laser beam is very narrow actually. Even we cannot see the signal also. Somebody interfere only you can able to see that. Okay. So therefore here if you measure the volume of transmission cone, just 209 meter cube actually. So this RF volume transmission cone is 12 million times greater than that FSO. So obviously any place if you introduce, they can take your information actually. So what about the security? See, one of the simple example I can give, take your Wi-Fi. See, like Wi-Fi, even though like in our home or in our office, if you switch on our Wi-Fi, you can find many other sources, other next house Wi-Fi thing and all, network and all you can find, isn't it? If you know the password, you can access it. So where is the security actually, isn't it? But same thing if you take Li-Fi, light fidelity, it's those who are inside the room, those who are under the light coverage only access the signal. So completely secured actually, isn't it? So likewise, security purpose, this wireless optical communication more advantages. Similarly, power consumption, RF side high, here less actually. But the major problem is that the FSO or wireless optical communication fully weather dependent actually. Okay. So therefore, you can understand the importance of this FSO. And this history means this FSO, it's not a new technology. I don't want to spend much time, just 1 second, 1 minute I can spend this on that. See, any topic, if you know the history, then only you can get interest towards the particular topic. So you know that speed of light is 3 lakhs kilometer per second means for inventing, calculating the speed of light itself, you know that people took 300 years. In 1631, Galileo started with simple experiment. He tried to measure the speed of light. Speed is equal to distance by time, but he failed. He conveyed that speed of light is infinite like that. So after 300 years only we measured exact speed of light. So that is the history actually. So same way, if you know the history, then only he will come to know. Many of us, we are thinking FSO is a new technology. Wireless optical communication is a very hard technology, new technology like that. But it's not at all new actually. This is the very old technology. In this world, very first wireless communication itself, wireless optical communication. Example only like our how we can see the things actually. Sunlight falls on all the objects, it reflected, it reaches our eyes. What it means? That communication itself, wireless optical communication. So even the big revolution in communication is like telephone. In 1880, Alexander Graham Bell, he invented telephone actually, isn't it? So in telephone, before the invention of telephone, Alexander Graham Bell, he invented photophone actually. Many of us, we may not know this photophone actually. So this photophone experiment, if you Google it, you will get a lot of information. He modulated human voice with sunlight. He transmitted for some distance actually. So that experiment only known as photophone experiment. You know that this is his own statement. Alexander Graham Bell own statement. Photophone was the greatest invention I have ever made, greater than the telephone. See, that's the beauty. But that time people may not realize, or due to the challenges, we targeted only telephone. But now, due to the demand requirement, again we are going back to this photo phone. That is nothing but wireless optical communication. So likewise, it's a very old technology. Even he published as a patent that photo phone experiment in 1880. Actually, this US patent he published actually. Okay, so that is the history. And coming to this application, this FSO used in lot of applications. Like as I said, metropolitan city. If you take metropolitan city, if you want to make a new network connectivity, we know that already it's fully congested. We wanted to make the network connectivity with high data rate, high speed, high bandwidth. So what we can do? We can't go with a traditional RF communication because the drawback is data rate as well as bandwidth. That two are our main demand actually. So we can't go with the fiber optic network also because digging the ground, installing fiber, that and all not feasible. So the solution is nothing but this kind of wireless optical communication network only. So starting from metropolitan intra satellite communication, our home access, you know that even though fiber is connecting to that our home, there are a lot of bottlenecks are there due to that conversion. Again, our boards, computers, everything working in like in the order of gigahertz processor speed frequencies only. That's why now people are working on quantum computers, etc. Okay, similarly cellular backhaul communication and airport, that fly runway, aeroplane runway, the air and all, this FSO wireless optical communication are highly useful. And similarly, like especially disaster recovery applications, whenever a earthquake or very big disasters are happening, at the time, including optical fiber connectivity, everything will be collapsed. Such kind of situation, this FSO is one of the very good solution actually. Already people used even that, we know that twin tower, that incident also, that collided of the tin tower also used FSO communication only. Okay, so like that we can tell a lot of applications. Yeah, now very important point, our discussion is challenges actually. So coming to these challenges in FSO communication is, the very primary thing is weather conditions like rain, fog, clear weather condition, haze, like that so many categories are there. And another one is turbulence effects actually. Here you can see three major challenges: atmospheric attenuation, atmospheric turbulence, and pointing errors. So this attenuation due to that absorption and scattering. So as we said, this atmosphere consists of like water molecules, different gases, oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, methane, etc. So if you transmit light signal through free space, all the gases, including water molecule, they used to absorb the light. See, this is very nice graph actually. This experiment done in 1980 itself actually. So here you'd see that x-axis is the wavelength, y-axis is the absorption actually. So here you can find this is one box 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these 5 boxes represents the absorption of this light with respect to different gases as well as water molecules. See this absorption due to that methane. So what is our observation here means, the absorption of methane is very less actually, because only these two wavelength around 3 micrometer, around 8 micrometer only the absorption is high. Remaining and all, there is no absorption with respect to methane. So same way this is nitrous oxide, oxygen, ozone, carbon dioxide. So observation is the major absorption due to that water molecules. So this we know that actually. For example, see, if you are driving a car, if the weather condition is very clear, the road is completely visible. If a straight road means 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer also it's visible to us. But raining means what will happen? So the visibility will be reduced because the light is getting attenuated. And if you go with fog, the visibility is very poor actually, because the fog attenuation will be very high actually. So the overall attenuation here you can see the last box. So here you can find as usual like fiber optic windows. Here also you can find the best window is 1.5 micrometer, that is around 1550 nanometer. You can find less attenuation. Okay, so this is the one thing. So this is with respect to transmittance. That is opposite to that absorption is transmittance. Okay. And so yeah, these tables you can understand. So atmospheric losses, especially with respect to rain, snow, fog, you can see over here. So rain attenuation is 3 to 6 dB per kilometer. Snow is 3 to 6 dB only. Fog, you see the fog, 20 dB to 200 dB per kilometer. So 20 dB means nothing will be visible. That's why if you stand top of the building, the fog is there means next building itself may not visible. Rain means at least some half kilometer visibility will be there. Clear weather condition means we will get visibility range is more. Okay, so that is the observation. So the fog itself categorized many types: dense fog, thick fog, moderate fog, light fog. So especially dense fog, thick fog and all, that is not possible FSO communication. Light fog, some extent it may be possible. See, very important thing is this slide only. Here the complete wavelength is given. If you see here, if you take our millimeter wave, everything comes in this kind of ranges only. Anyway, that we are going to discuss in detail. Okay. So these all are with respect to absorption. And scattering, you know that the light signal interact with that particles, the light is getting scattered. Atmospheric turbulence is nothing but like pressure due to the temperature variation, pressure variation, and these water molecules and dust particles, everything this kind of mixed together, it acts as a air packets kind of thing. Even you can see that. Yeah, see, these all are like air packets. They are in different sizes actually. If you transmit light, it used to interact with these air packets. Depends on the refractive index, the phase amplitude of the transmitted light signal will be vary. So that only known as atmospheric turbulence effects. So this modeled using many channel models, K distribution, exponential distribution, gamma gamma distribution, double gamma gamma, N distribution. Nowadays, so many distributions are there. You know that how in wireless communication we are using a Rayleigh channel model and that Nagakami alpha mu fading channel, etc., Weibull distribution, etc. Same way here also applicable. And the last challenge is pointing errors. This pointing error is due to the thermal expansion, dynamic wind loads, weak earthquakes, etc. See, this video is very nice video actually. If you see that heavily rise buildings like 100 floors, 150 floors and all, in normal it may not look like there is no vibration kind of thing. But if in this video, like 1,000 times zoom video actually, you can see this building have some oscillation, vibration due to many reasons, wind speed or thermal expansion, etc. So if you keep that FSO transceiver in top of this building, obviously the line of sight will be affected, isn't it? I hope you may understand this point. See, if you are keeping in the top of the building like this FSO transceiver, due to this vibration of this building, this line of sight will be affected. So this is only known as misalignment fading actually. The alignment between the transmitter and receiver is very important. Even millimeter wave communication also, line of sight is very, very important. Okay. So this can be mitigated. For this purpose only, you know that you can do this kind of receivers, horizontally and vertically movable receivers. To avoid this kind of vibration only, if you check our traditional construction methods, that's why, see, now we are claiming we are the big scientist kind of thing. But you know, our ancients are the real heroes. They are the real scientists actually. That time itself they observed everything. That's why in top of the building they used to keep heavy weight. Even if you take Tamil Nadu Tanjore temple, in top of the temple heavy weight, tons of weights are there actually. Even though big earthquake also, you never find any oscillation, vibration in such kind of temples. Even temples, the structure, you see Hindu temple like this, Christian church, any temples, any buildings, it's like this, so that we can't avoid that vibrations. The same thing only people are doing, structural engineers and all. So this building motion you can find due to that many reason, thermal expansion, wind and equipments. Like see, 150 floor apartment, if you consider how many ACs are there, how many washing machine, microwave oven, everything releasing heat because of the thermal expansion, vibration will be there. So these and all, see the beauty, many times per second, once every several seconds, once per day. So due to that, if you keep FSO transceiver in the top of the building, this misalignment will be there. So these are the major challenges in FSO communication. Okay, so to avoid that, many mitigation techniques are used actually. Anyway, we are not focusing that thing. Okay, so these are the challenges. And you know that this wireless optical communication, FSO and all, already it's that products are available in the market. People are using commercially actually many applications. Fsona, Avano Technologies, Lightpoint, Canon, these all are that industries, they have the products for this wireless optical communication. Okay, so this is complete introduction or a discussion about this FSO. Now you may understand what is meant by FSO and the overview about it. Now we are moving to these millimeter waves. Okay. Okay, so now coming to this millimeter waves, as we discussed, the range of millimeter wave is 3 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz frequency range. So why we are going for millimeter waves? Already we discussed. That is, the exist spectrum is completely congested, occupied. Therefore, we are going with millimeter wave. Not only that reason, we are looking for a high speed as well as high bandwidth, etc. Okay, so this I taken from the paper, one survey paper published in IEEE Communication Surveys and Tutorials actually. So there are, especially if you talk about capacity, the capacity demand, we know that 3 ways to increase the capacity: reduce cell sizes, that only we discussed in small cell; new frequency spectrum, that is expand the spectrum; and the third thing is enhance signal processing techniques. So this expand spectrum only we are dealing with this millimeter waves actually. If you take this millimeter wave history, again it's not a new technology, already started, people done a lot of research, but nowadays the requirement is more actually, the demand is more, especially in mobile communication. That's why we are feeling this millimeter technology is a new technology. Okay, so it's introduced by Sir J.C. Bose in 1897. Then over the years, especially 19th century, only people uh, again started to do. See, this is the development actually. Any technology, after the invention, due to the challenges or difficulties, people used to drop. Then after many years, they used to take it up. When the demand is there, then only we will take it up. Then we used to work actually. So same kind of here also. Then in 19th century, 1960, people started to use radio astronomy, then military application. Now recently we are trying to use for 5G communication. This is the brief history. See how we discussed FSO, the channel propagation challenges. Same way we are going to discuss for millimeter waves also. So what are the challenges we discussed in FSO? First thing is atmospheric attenuation, atmospheric turbulence. The third thing is misalignment fading or pointing error. Same way, if you coming to this millimeter wave communication, the challenges are propagation effects or atmospheric gases attenuation. Again, same attenuation. This is due to that absorption. So again, what are the contents of this institutes of this atmosphere? Different gases, water molecule, and dust particles. Same things comes into the picture over here also. And see weather condition, in the sense again that oxygen, carbon dioxide, different gases, how they absorb this millimeter waves. And similarly, another attenuation is due to that rain. And then blockage. See, this blockage is one of the important thing. Foliage blockage means like trees or a group of trees, forest regions are like that, that blocks the signal. Then scattering effects, diffuse, specular scatterings, reflections, then diffraction, bending. So these are the propagation effects. How in uh, traditional RF communication, we are discussing about the complete fading, multipath fading effects, etc. Same way, but that RF communication we used like in the order of 1 to 3 gigahertz. But here we are discussing about millimeter waves actually. Okay. So this is the atmospheric attenuation with respect to millimeter waves. Especially we know that 3 gigahertz almost here to 300 gigahertz. This range of frequency is known as millimeter waves. See the attenuation. The here actually you can find two curves actually. So the first curve A, the upper curve is nothing but sea level, like our ground level thing. And the second curve, bottom curve B, is nothing but 4 kilometer above that sea level actually. Okay, so again if you go that above the sea level, what is happening means this attenuation is sea level is more. If you go with a little bit higher altitudes, that is very less actually. It's applicable for FSO communication also. If you go with the higher altitudes, the turbulence effects that and all will be less actually, therefore we can find attenuation also less. So here you can find, see, this is with respect to water attenuation, water molecules, how much it's attenuate, especially here around like 180 gigahertz frequency range. The attenuation, if you refer, almost 4 dB per kilometer, isn't it? So if you go with that higher frequencies, 300 gigahertz like that, the attenuation is keep on increasing. In between, it's decreasing and increasing. So where the attenuation is less, that only we are identifying as a windows actually. So that frequency only preferable for 5G communication or other applications actually. Okay. So same way, this is attenuation due to that rain. So here x-axis is frequency again, y-axis is the attenuation due to that rain. So rain normally it used to, you know that in news and all we may hear this many centimeter rain was there particular place like that. So in the order of centimeter per hour or millimeter per hour, we used to measure the rain level actually. So here you can take different rain level, 0.25 millimeter per hour, 1.25, 150 millimeter per hour. See, the observation is if that frequency increases, the attenuation of rain also increasing actually. And another thing is if the rain level is increasing, again the attenuation also increasing. That is the observation. Okay. So again, if you look into that detailed propagation effects, characteristics of this millimeter wave. So if you transmit millimeter wave through free space, see these effects already we discussed in the table. If you take like propagation effects, very less in these lower frequencies. But if you enter into that millimeter waves, the propagation effects are more. So if you transmit millimeter wave through free space, the effects are free space loss, then that blockage, foliage attenuation, atmospheric attenuation, that is due to that water molecules, oxygen gas absorption, then Doppler's effect, material penetration, or a wall. This room walls also used to block, isn't it? Then rain fading, and different propagation mechanisms, refraction, diffraction, multipath, scattering, reflection. So the complete effects we have to study actually, and everything mathematical models are there actually. So again, if you want to enter detail, many survey papers are there. You can please refer those papers. If you want, I'll share with you also. Okay. So this is with respect to, see, each characteristics we can address, like free space loss, foliage attenuation, atmospheric attenuation, everything we can address, everything mathematical models are there, and people done experimental also. Based on that, they publish the results actually. Especially if you look it out, this is distance versus path loss. See here, just two frequencies considered, 2.6 gigahertz and 26 gigahertz. So this is lower side of this millimeter wave frequency. We know that 3 to almost 300 gigahertz. So here we are taking around 3, and after some frequency, that is 26 gigahertz. See that if you are going with higher frequencies, what's happening? This path loss also increasing actually. This is again in terms of meter. If you are going with kilometer, it's again will be high actually. And again, instead of 26 gigahertz, if you are going with 50 gigahertz, 100 gigahertz, this path loss will be more actually. Okay. And similarly, rain attenuation with respect to this, see, the same thing already previously we discussed, similar kind of thing. And with respect to oxygen, water vapor, light rain, heavy rain. So the observation is if you are going with the frequency, higher frequencies, the attenuation is increasing. The main attenuation is due to this water actually. Okay. So same thing only available in this further slides also. And this is foliage attenuation, the blockage. So see, the transmitted signal is attenuated due to this blockage of trees, buildings. Even as we discussed, human also block the signal actually. So this only we have seen in that video actually. So these all are the challenges in this millimeter wave communication. Similarly, wall. See, normal RF, it's penetrate through the walls. Even if you take Bluetooth itself, we know that around 2.4 gigahertz, 2.5 gigahertz we are using. Within that 0.1 gigahertz, 0.2 gigahertz, the penetration through the wall is differ actually. So therefore that also we have to consider in the picture. Human blockage, as we discussed, see the between the access point and user, any human is crossing means that human also used to block the signal. Suppose some edges means it may be like diffract, reflect, it will reach the receiver. So but suppose the signal completely it's fall on the center of our human body, the signal will be blocked actually. So this also we have to address. For this also modeling will be there. And not only this thing, many other things. See, hand blocking, self body blocking, no need other person have to cross. Our self body itself used to block some signal actually. So like that, many forms of blockage have to be yet to be modeled and analyzed. So many opens revenues are there for research of this millimeter waves actually. Okay, but since still the advantage is nothing but we can make the directive links, limited interference, as he said. Interference also we can control. For that and all, many techniques are people are using. See, one of the technique is, anyway we are going to discuss RIS as we discussed. And if you coming to these applications of millimeter wave, as we discussed, see this blue color is macro cells. Then we are going with using these millimeter waves, we are going with the small cells like micro cells like that. Okay, so device to device communication, etc. And here you can find exactly. So this is the macro cells, that is a microwave cell. Under that microwave cell we are creating a small cells inside over here, that is millimeter waves based small cell, or micro cells, pico cells, we can call it as like that. Okay, so this is the one of the example I given, RIS assisted millimeter wave communication. Actually this is given for indoor. The same thing applicable for outdoor also. So many research works are going on in this area actually. So this is the controller, we are transmitting the signal. So this is that RIS, reconfigurable intelligent surface. Mostly these all are meta surfaces. So based on that, making diodes on off, we can focus the signal towards the user. Therefore that it's like a beam forming kind of thing also, we can achieve these things. Okay, so this is a brief introduction about millimeter wave. Now coming to this hybrid and convergent systems. Okay. So what is our observation means, still now many things we discussed, like starting from 5G, 6G, beyond 6G, those things we discussed, and IoT we discussed. So, and similarly there is different techniques, millimeter wave as well as FSO communication we discussed. So our observation is the demands of 5G and IoTs are high speed, high capacity, again the same thing, high security, high bandwidth. Apart from these things, reliability and availability of the link, anytime, any place, anything should be connected. So how we can achieve this thing, reliability and availability? For example, very simple example I can give. If you take like a millimeter wave range frequencies, it easily or highly attenuated by rain actually. See, one of the simple example, if you take DTH, if heavily raining or highly cloudy, we may not receive that DTH signal, right? So the signal is getting attenuated. So the millimeter wave highly attenuated by rain actually. But if you take FSO, like free space optics, that light signal heavily attenuated by fog actually. So suppose if you are going with hybrid connectivity, millimeter wave as well as FSO. So if rain is more means this FSO link will withstand. If fog is more means this millimeter wave link will withstand actually. So always you are connected with the network. That's why different weather condition, different scenarios. So if you want to make that, ensure that reliability and availability of the link, obviously this hybrid link is required, cooperative links and convergent systems, relay assisted systems. These all are highly essential to achieve reliability and availability of the link actually. Okay, and not only this thing, low cost and easy deployable. So these all are the demands of this 5G and IoT. Flexibility. So how we can achieve those things means, especially this reliability and availability means, so through this hybrid, cooperative as well as convergent systems only. Okay, so these hybrid, cooperative, convergent systems, not only between FSO and millimeter wave. For our discussion I am taking that thing, it's between wired and wireless. Again among the wired communication itself, among the wireless itself, or overall actually. Okay, so that's why I mentioned that thing. So what are the combination you can see over here? This just I am repeating the slide. All the possible combinations we can do that hybrid, cooperative, as well as what convergent systems. Okay, so again, this is wireless communication technologies in the order of data rate with respect to distance. You can see in this figure actually. So see, x-axis is the distance, y-axis is the data rate. If you take millimeter wave communication, so see here the data rate up to 1 Gbps to 10 Gbps, almost 2-3 Gbps it's possible with respect to millimeter wave communication. And coverage range also, distance also maximum 1 kilometer. If no much blockage and other stuffs, so 1 kilometer is maximum possible distance. If you take FSO, so see here up to 100 Gbps is possible actually, and distance also up to around 2-3 kilometers distance in clear weather condition it's possible. So now we are going to discuss this convergence only, like hybrid of this millimeter wave and FSO. So it's have its own advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantages is, as we discussed, millimeter wave link, the heavy drawback is nothing but rain actually. FSO, the major drawback is nothing but fog weather conditions. So therefore, if you are going with this hybrid kind of connectivity, at least we can maintain the average data rate 1 Gbps. Okay, that is the purpose. The same thing what we discussed only here, different cells, personal cell, home cell, pico cell, micro cell, suburban level. In that different level, we are using different kind of communication. So we are going with hybrid, etc. So especially this millimeter wave as well as FSO, this hybrid link where it is required means how it is useful for 5G communication means, you know that nowadays the number of mobile users increasing like anything. Especially if you refer this slide, x-axis is year, y-axis is the data rate. Over the generation, we are looking for high data rate. At the same time, our observation is the coverage region also reduced, because we are going with the high frequency, RF frequency to that millimeter waves to terahertz, etc. So in this slide, you can easily understand. If you take that one first generation and all, see, the cell radius is 40 kilometer. But in 5G, we are looking for millimeter waves, that is 3 gigahertz to 300 gigahertz. Cell radius is reduced less than 100 meter. But we can achieve high data rate, high bandwidth, etc. But cell radius is reducing. That only you can see in this figure actually. Okay. So that reason only we are dividing, as we discussed, the micro cells is divided into micro cell, pico cell, femto cell. You can see here small cells, micro cells, femto cells. These FS were highly useful for this femto cell application between building to building. If you take our campus, any your college institute campus itself, two adjacent buildings we can connect using this FSO link. So within the building, one floor to another floor, so some range you can cover this microwave wave, millimeter wavelength, and the complete campus connected with this base station using macro cell level. Okay, and all these sub base stations again connected with optical fiber with respect to that central base station. So here you can see that fiber optic communication is there, millimeter wave communication is there, and RF communication is there. So everything is cooperative links, as well as hybrid also you can use it actually. Anyway, I'll try to conclude this topic here. So if you see it here, millimeter waves also you can find that. Sir?
Just sorry to interrupt. One of the participant is asking that how device to D2D communication in microcells. Just he is requesting you to say something about that.
Device to device communication in microcell.
Microcells. Yeah, can I let him to discuss with you?
Yeah, fine, sir.
Yeah. Venkatesh Kumar, please go ahead.
Morning, sir. Device to device communication, can you explain, please, in the previous millimeter, you showed that you will have a microcell and we will have so many picocells.
Sir,
in that how that device to device within the handset, between the handset or between the picocells will be happening. Like that.
Your background noise is a little bit more, sir, actually.
In the month
Okay. No problem, sir. Anyway, sir. Anyway, that device to device communication is like, for example, like this, like how we are calling like this personal area networks, like one device to another device communication. So that is possible in actually exactly. I'm not getting that question actually. In what perspective is asking actually? So without that, sir.
Yes.
Sir, in chat box I have made it, sir. Please.
Okay, 1 second, sir. Then anyway,
Okay, so yeah, I think he has some noisy background. So his
otherwise,
point is that you have the millimeter wave cells, right? So his question about when you talk about the millimeter wave spectrum and the coverage.
Yeah.
So how to make the D2D communication in that cells? Like he's asking some kind of, is there any backbone network or framework underlying for that? I understand that's the sense he is asking about.
Okay, so in this millimeter wave, again, device to device communication, sir said many frameworks are there actually, but in what way? In the sense, how can I? Okay, anyway, sir, I tried to address last, sir. Is it fine, sir?
Yeah,
okay, sir.
ahead.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thanks.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sorry. So yes, sir. Yes. Yeah. So therefore, this kind of convergent and cooperative and what this hybrid communication links are required actually. See, very simple manner I can make you to understand this thing is you just see this video actually, so that easily we can understand this hybrid FSO millimeter communication for 5G applications. Again, as I'm telling that. So not only this combo actually, many combos you can use it. That's why just for addressing purpose, I added many slide. I'll show it actually. So these also already implemented in real time actually. It's not like research level or theoretical level. It's already implemented in many foreign countries actually. So see here, this is two buildings. You assume it as they are separated by 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer, 1.5 kilometer distance. This is like metropolitan cities, some high-rise buildings top. We are keeping some base stations actually. Okay. So see here you can find two links. So one is millimeter wave link. This yellow color is millimeter wave link, and this blue color is FSO link actually. Okay, so the main where this combo is required means, see, as we discussed this IoT, this beyond 5G and all, we are looking for availability as well as reliability of the link. Always these two buildings or these two base stations should be connected. Okay, so for these reasons only we are going this kind of hybrid. For example, here you see that two different weather condition. Here this right hand side you can find a heavy fog is there. Left hand side you can find heavy rain is there. As we discussed the challenges and absorption curves actually, this fog used to attenuate light signal more actually. So in foggy weather condition, this FSO link no more actually, but millimeter wave link can withstand. But rainy weather condition, millimeter wave link highly attenuated, so it's no more, but FSO link will withstand in this rainy weather condition. You can see here. See, this fog attenuate the FSO link, rain attenuate the millimeter wave link. So depends on the weather condition, we can switch over the connectivity actually. So we can keep some sensors, we measure, we sense the weather conditions. So depends on that weather condition, we can switch over the link actually, FSO link to that millimeter wave link to that FSO link. So that only I put it over here, rain, fog, weather condition. It's not only between the two different base stations. As we discussed, like picocells, femtocells levels, in if you take big apartments, adjacent apartments in top, we can keep like FSO as well as these millimeter wavelengths. You can communicate actually. Okay. So not only that thing, here you can see that 5G cellular backhaul architecture. So this is backhaul network. This is access network. Here you can see it here. We are using FSO link, millimeter wave link, microwave link, optical fiber. So these sub-base stations connected with central base station or core network, that is optical fiber, that is a backbone network. But the new small cell sub-base stations and all connect using millimeter wave link, FSO link, etc. actually. So these and all, like you can find so many works mathematically, experimentally in the recent papers actually. Okay. So here also you can find variations of backhaul systems. So these are all like convergent systems actually, not hybrid. Previous one what we have seen in that video, that is hybrid system. Hybrid system means between the 2 points we are using both the links, FSO as well as millimeter wave. That is hybrid system. Convergent systems means like relay based system, relay assisted systems actually. Here you can see here different combo. This completely fiber based system. Here fiber plus millimeter wave link. Here fiber plus FSO, completely FSO, FSO convergent with millimeter wave link. So in this kind of combination, addressing different effects, and starting she mentioned like handoff, every like challenges are addressed through many techniques, many theoretical approach, experimental works you can find it actually. Not only this combo, again FSO itself, wireless optical communication itself, optical camera communication, visible light communication. See the here hybrid works, hybrid wireless hybrid networks, RF hybrid with optical, optical hybrid with optical, RF hybrid with millimeter wave, like the different combinations are available, exist. Okay. So it's exist in every level, satellite to satellite, satellite to aeroplane, satellite to earth, aeroplane to airplane, as like device to device, car to car, everywhere this kind of hybrid links are now people are implementing actually. Okay. That examples only you can find it over here. See here only we have used a transmitter receiver side a switch kind of thing. So depends on the weather condition, we can switch over to the link FSO to that millimeter wave or millimeter wave to that FSO. We can give a lot of example actually. So similarly, this is like as I said, to make you ensure that line of sight and other, if you are going with millimeter waves, etc. This line of sight is the problem. Only line of sight and reflection only possible. Diffraction, scattering, penetration, and all not possible. So for that, we are using this RIS structures. RF side also, FSO side also, even millimeter wave side also people are using. Similarly, vehicular level, infrastructure level. So we can give a lot of examples. The conclusion is, if you look at out the future network, it connect all the things, underwater environment, terrestrial environment, space environment, everything is connected with the network through like different cooperative hybrid convergent systems of RF, millimeter wave, FSO, and other stuffs. Okay, wire stuffs. Same thing extended in underwater also. As I said, this is acoustic, microwave. Then we are using optical also, underwater wireless optical communication. We are doing a lot of works in this underwater and convergent with FSO, convergent with RF, etc. Okay, so I think it will keep on go actually. I thought to wind up here actually. So with respect to our work actually, we are doing a lot of works towards this IoT, IOUT. Just for this convergent purpose, I'll show a couple of works actually. These also a lot of examples we can tell. We developed some hardware setup for underwater. Yeah, this is one of the convergent system. See here, this is underwater vehicle. Here also, if you see one video, you can understand the importance actually. So see, yes, I think this video. So see, under ocean, so many pipelines, optical fibers, many things installed, deployed actually. So here any leakage or any damage, how to monitor such things means. So we are going with this kind of sensors. See here, in this pipe, some damage is there actually. The damage identified by the nearest sensor, it communicate to the nearby sensors. And here you can find one underwater vehicle. It's in moving around actually. This underwater vehicle, it receives the sensor information. See, it's going to that spot. It's recording the video. Again, the thing is, if you record the video, how much bandwidth is required, data rate is to transmit efficiently to that seashore control station. there obviously we are looking for a wireless optical microwave links, etc. Actually, okay, again the combinations of all the thing, acoustic, microwave, optical, etc. So these kind of applications only we propose the convergence system actually here. See, this is underwater vehicle, and here you consider it's like a ship kind of thing. So here using underwater wireless optical communication link, then they ship to this seashore control station using RF link. Then instead of RF you can go with FSO link also. Here UWOC FSO link. If you go with multiple path like multi-hop convergence system, we can connect highlands actually. There are many highlands in our India itself, Andaman Nicobar, 572 highlands are there actually. Such kind of communication, likewise many application we can use it actually. Even this Li-Fi and all we used for this works and all our work we published in IEEE transaction on vehicular technology and many Elsevier journals, SPI journals, etc. Okay, so such kind of works we are doing. So with that I thought to conclude. So I hope uh, some level of ideas you may get it towards these convergent systems. As I said, if possible, maybe some other occasion we will discuss in detail. What about these convergent systems? What about the mathematical model, channel model behind that? And if you consider any hybrid system, how the switchover will take place, as well as what about that response time of that, how much time it will take? What about the system performance, like bit error rate, outage probability? So, and other challenges, how we can address, what are the mitigation techniques? So in that perspective, maybe some other occasion we will discuss. And if you are interested any further research, anything, queries, doubts also, you can contact me through mail, phone, anything actually. Yeah, now uh, open to that question, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot, bro. Very nice session, sir. We have covered many things that are in a very light way, very interesting. So let me open to the participants if they want to discuss something. So let me enable one after another based on their interest. Okay, Binu, you can go ahead. Binu 418. That's how the name is displayed. Binu, I think you have raised your hand. You can unmute and speak now. Okay, so I think I have noticed one other question. I am unable to unmute. No, you will be able to unmute. I have enabled you to speak. Yes, Dr. LRC, please go ahead. Yeah. Yeah, Amrita, you can unmute.
First of all, thank you, sir, for an amazing session. I have one of the questions. Like recently, I went through research papers on meta surfaces. Since you were talking about RIS, I came across one more meta surface, that is IOS, Intelligent Omnidirectional Surfaces.
Okay.
So I just wanted to know how to proceed